Good morning, and thank you for joining me for another live drawing session. So this morning, I'm going to show you something that quite a lot of people have been asking for. Way too many people to mention, to be honest. Over the last couple of weeks, I've had probably 40, 50 different requests for this video. It seems to be something that a lot of people struggle with, and that is how you draw noses. Now, noses are quite a difficult thing when you start off, when you start drawing, because they look kind of quite complicated. There's a lot of different ways the shadows are cast. So like any of my drawing sessions, these are all about breaking things down into really simple shapes and making things as easy as possible to draw. So I'm going to show you a couple of little techniques this morning for how to draw noses in a really simple way. So to begin with, here we go. We're going to start off with our first guideline. So really, we've got just a little circle there. So we've got a ball. That's the end of the nose. A couple of little lines upwards. Now remember, these are guidelines. So I'm drawing them a little bit darker today, just so you can see what I'm doing. But these are as a guide for you to then decide which lines you want to keep afterwards. So I want you to press really light when you're drawing in these guidelines, okay? So you've got the ball, these two little lines up. Then from the bottom of this ball, all you need, coming up from either side, sweep those little shapes up. And then again, either side, you're adding in your nostrils. And this is your nose. So with the nostrils, you can add a little bit of shading under them if you want. Now the key is to have this as shading. This isn't a solid line, okay? So where you put these guidelines, you want some shading down there, and you want some shading on the underside of the nose. Now you might put in these little lines here. See the eyes are going to come up here. You've got your mouth coming in this bit, okay? But this is the shape you want from the nose. What you don't want to do is draw really solid lines down like that and put your nose on, because your nose is just going to look sort of stuck onto your character, onto your face. Sorry, your nose sort of blends in at the sides, so it's important that these lines at the sides are shading. So again, we'll show you that again, just with slightly different shapes. So you've got the ball at the end of your nose. You've got the two lines coming up. Sweep up your nostrils. Hook around the outside of those nostrils there. And remember, this bit is shaded, and you get a little bit of shading underneath. You can put some shading under the nostrils if you want to. But there, essentially, is your nose. And you can do any different type of nose like that. So let's go for a bit more of an oval. We've got a much wider nose here. Again, sweep up those nostrils, the shape on the outside of the nostrils, and you have a wider nose. You can do a longer oval there. Do your lines up. Sweep up the nostrils, and you have a really long, thin nose. So there you go, just show you very quickly on there. There you go. And it's important that those lines that I'm drawing in quite dark, you keep them nice and light, okay? You want those to be your guidelines for where your shading is going to go. So by the time you've sort of finished it, if you kept those in really light, you can see how the nose kind of works really nicely there. Okay, you don't need to draw these solid lines in. This sort of little guide works really nicely for drawing noses from the front, like straight on. And again, just practice. So you got your circle, Got your lines, sweep up your nostrils, and then hook around the outside of the nostrils there. And then you can add in as much kind of detail as you want. Okay, to come up with some really cool noses. Now, if you're drawing a nose from the side, there's something slightly different you need to do. And again, it's all about starting off with these really simple basic shapes. So over here, I'm going to show you how you draw a nose from the side. So for this, we need a triangle. With that triangle, we need a circle at the front and a smaller circle at the back. And this is our guideline for our nose from the side. So using this, draw around the tip of the nose. Our nostril comes back up there. And then this hooks round. Now from the back of this circle, or sort of halfway where this arch is, this is where the top of your lip goes. Obviously, we'd have our eyes up here. And there's your nose from the side. Now, to do different types of noses from the side, you just change the shape of that triangle a little bit. So for this one, bigger circle there, smaller circle there. This time, you've got a much longer nose. Works exactly the same way. You might want to do a longer nose that way. Let's got your bigger circle at the front, smaller circle at the back. Now instead of this arch coming in this way, you might hook it over. Use that as a guideline again. Use that as your guideline for your nostril. And you have your nose from the side. And this works for any type of nose. You can really sort of exaggerate the noses on these. So you've got your big nostril there, little nostril there. So for this one, you've got a really big nose. You've got the top lip coming back up there. Different styles of characters, but you've got a nose that looks sort of fairly realistic, just based on this triangle, the circle, and your smaller circle. Now this also allows you to do noses from slightly different angles if you want to get a little bit more tricky with it. So let's see over on this side of the paper. I am going to draw my triangle again. I've got the big circle at the front, got the big circle at the back, a small circle at the back, sorry. I also want to put a smaller circle there, okay? So just sort of tucked in behind that big circle. Now what this allows me to do is draw my nose on here, put my nostril on, and then also get that nostril from the back. So you have a nose where you're sort of looking down on it a little bit, or if the head is sort of tilted forward, you've got a nose at a slightly different angle. You can do this the opposite way as well. So if I show you quickly on here, so we have our triangle for the nose. Now I'm going to make this triangle sort of 3D, okay? So we have our big circle at the front, small circle at the back, also a small circle at the back there. And this allows us to do a nose. And using those as a guide, where you are looking upwards, okay? So you're looking up at the nose from underneath, just using the same sort of basic idea. And that's kind of it, okay? Once you've sort of played about with these a little bit, you can then start experimenting with getting your shading right. You can add extra little details. So when you've got your noses from the side, you might want to add in sort of an extra bump at the top. You might want to kind of do a mustache. add extra creases. There's all this kind of cool stuff you can do. But the key to getting noses right is to start off with these really simple shapes. So just to recap very quickly, nose from the front, you have your circle, 2 lines up, sweep up your nostrils, and then hook around those nostrils on the outside. And then remember, these lines are your guidelines, so you want those really light, and you actually want to pick them out with the shading. Your nose is from the side. You want a triangle. You want a bigger circle at the front, smaller circle at the back. Use that as your guideline to hook up the nostril there, hook around there, and then from in the middle of this nostril here, you can put your top lip, set your eyes back here, and there's your basic nose, okay? You can add in extra details as you go along. And then once you've mastered that and you want to get really complicated, take that triangle and make it 3D. Still use the same big circle at the front, smaller circles at the back, and you can start playing about with some really cool angles for your nose. Okay, and that's it. Noses are much simpler than people think. The key is to remember that on the front of the face, you're not drawing these really harsh lines down the sides because it will make it look like your nose is just sort of stuck on. Remember to do that with the shading, and then remember these guidelines, the really simple shapes to begin with. Sketch those in first of all, and then use them to guide your lines for when you're putting the face together. That's it, an experiment. Your noses will get better and better the more you practice. Again, I'd love to see what you guys come up with. Thank you for joining me again today. As always, really appreciate all the support, all the likes and the follows. If you're looking for more videos sort of beyond this, check out my YouTube channel, subscribe on there. That's where I upload all the videos that aren't live streams as well. So there's a bunch of new stuff going on there this week. And thank you for joining me. Enjoy drawing, and I will see you all again soon.